Hi guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and it is September 11th, and it's 11:40 p.m. Eastern Time. We do have Q posts from today, and I'm going to go over those and bring us up to date. I'm in a bit of a somber mood today, as probably many of you are as well. I think that 9/11 is it's a day of not just remembering, but it's still an open wound as far as I'm concerned. I think all of us know exactly where we were, what we were doing, who we were with, everything. I think we remember those emotions and go through it again every 9/11. At least I do. Just seeing it, watching documentaries or what have you, it's like you're reliving it again. And I think it's a wound that hasn't healed for Americans because there's never been any justice. There really has never been any justice. And I pray that someday there will be, so that America can start to heal from this, because really it is like an open wound to so many. And it has to be for those of you that live in New York. I can't even imagine what it must have been like. I can't even imagine. But anyway, our thoughts and prayers are with those that lost loved ones that day as well. And as well, I wanted to mention the storm again and ask that if you are a believer, to keep the people that are in the path of this storm in your prayers, because I'm telling you, this is not a storm to mess around with. Like I said in the last video, I've been through one hurricane and the tail end of a couple hurricanes when I was living in Louisiana. And let me tell you, I never want to go through it again, because you're without electricity, and just the basic functioning of life breaks down. And, you realize that, gosh, there's no power, so there's no grocery stores. You can't get groceries. You can't go to the ATM. The ATMs aren't working. You can't pump gas. Well, even if there was gas, you wouldn't be able to pump it, because you need power for that. And you can't, if you're hurt, you can't get to the hospital because there's trees down everywhere. It's just, people don't think of all these things. But please, please prepare and get out of harm's way if you are in the path. Please do not play with this storm. I just don't have a good feeling about it at all. And there are two storms behind it, and also a storm in the Gulf. So America really is facing, some dark days ahead. I really believe that, because I don't know how the ground is already saturated in, I know I was just speaking to a friend in Georgia for a long time, and he said, the ground is saturated. It's already saturated. And the same in Texas, where they've got flooding. The ground is saturated. They don't need any more rain. And what's going to happen is there's going to be epic flooding. And so it's not just the wind that you have to be, cautious of. It's the rain and the flooding. So anyway, I'm feeling very sick for those people that are facing this. I really do. My heart is with you. Anyway, we're going to go through these posts. I've got a couple left from September 10th. Q posted after I had quit for the evening. So let's just go through those real quickly. There's not anything here that's too involved. But and it's the same with the post from today. There's a lot of information, but it's not too in depth. So I should be able to get through it fairly quickly and still cover it thoroughly. So this is from September 10th, and Q says, prepare your memes. Non-NSA technology today cannot read or filter. So he's saying, the technology that they have, the social media has, it can't read and filter memes. So it's hard to shadow ban a meme, and so forth. So that's what Q is saying here. And he left a link to a Twitter account. And for some reason, this is a picture. I can't go out to it. So let me hang on here. Hang on. We'll find it, we'll remedy it, and we'll move on. Hang on here. There we go. Oh, yes, it's this. Oh, no, it's this one. Yes, I remember this. It's the Punisher. I guess it's a GIF. So, and I guess he's just using this as an example. Anyway, ready your memes. If you're a meme maker, if you're a mean meme maker, then get them ready and put them wherever. Facebook, Twitter, just wherever you want. So let's go back. Ready your memes. And then Q, referencing this, says, attention on deck, battle stations, memes at the ready. Where we go one, we go all, Q. And I just think that's cute. Attention on deck, battle stations, memes at the ready. So anyway, we're going to go on from here. And this is from September 10th as well. Looking forward to September 11th, as he has put a memorial here. It says, attention on deck, battle stations, memes at the ready. Where we go one, we go all, Q, and referencing that. And then below, he's got a wonderful picture of, it was the light display after the Twin Towers came down. They had the light display, and I can't remember if that was on the first anniversary or if they do that every year. I'm not sure. Someone that lives in New York may be aware. I'm not sure if they still do that. I would assume not, since there's another tower there, but I don't know. And below it says, we will never forget, we will never forgive. Q. Well, okay. I guess, we will never forgive. Yeah, I have issue with that, but I'm not saying that those responsible need to be held accountable and punished, whatever that punishment is. But yeah, we do need to move on. We can't just, forgive and be, or non, we need to, when we hold unforgiveness in our heart, it hurts us more than it hurts anybody else. So it makes us bitter. It can do all sorts of physical damage to your body, and that is a fact. So, all right, that's my little sermon for the day. Okay, and here is the next from September 10th, and it says it's a post that he actually posted January 8th, 2018, and Q is posting it again to remind us because of all the kerfluffle that has been happening lately. So it says, important, no private communications, past, present, future. No communications made outside of this platform. Any claims that contradict the above should be considered fake news and disregarded immediately. Where we go one, we go all. Patriots, Q. So anybody tells you that, oh yeah, I know who Q is or what, no. Q only communicates through that board, the 8chan board. Okay, that's the only place that Q is communicating. And this person, Microchip or whatever his name is, that is saying, oh, I'm Q and I can stop at any time. Well, then why doesn't he stop it? Why does he keep doing it? If he says he's Q and it was all a LARP, then why doesn't he stop posting? He keeps saying, oh, I'll stop. Well, why doesn't he stop? Why doesn't he say, okay, I'm going to stop posting for so many days and then not post? If it's truly, it would be so easy for him to prove, but he can't because he's a liar. And, don't think too highly of liars. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Now, this I cannot show you, and this is the one I was blubbering about just a few minutes ago, actually, because it's themilitary.com, and I'm going to put this in, and I am going to remember, okay? I know I'm terrible for that. I'll say, well, I'll put it in the description, and then I forget. But I will put this there because I really want you guys to see this. It's very important. I think all Americans should see this. But to me, it was moving, and, well, I'm just a big old sap anyway, but something of that, it was moving to me. So I would suggest that you watch that, but I can't show it to you because I'll get a copyright strike. I'm sorry, but, if my channel's wiped out, then I can't talk to you about anything. So I do have to be cautious to some degree while still not holding back about what I need to say. All right. Now, this is, it says, we will never forget, we will never forgive. And then down here it says Patriot Day, Q. Now let's go out and see the link that Q has given us. Presidential Proclamation on Patriot Day 2018, issued on December 10th, 2018. I love this. On Patriot Day, we honor the memories of the nearly 3,000 precious lives we lost on September 11th, 2001, and of every hero who has given their life since that day to protect our safety and our freedom. We come together today to recall this timeless truth. When America is united, no force on earth can break us apart. Our values endure, our people thrive, our nation prevails, and the memory of our loved ones never fades. Although that fateful Tuesday 17 years ago began like any other, it erupted into horror and anguish when radical Islamic terrorists carried out an unprecedented attack on our homeland. In New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, the enemies of liberty took aim on America, but their evil acts could not crush our spirit, overcome our will, or loosen our commitment to freedom. Through the dust and ashes, we emerged resilient and united, bruised but not broken. On September 11th, 2001, the world came to understand the true source of America's strength, a people of indomitable will and a society rooted in the timeless values of liberty. Our love of country was made manifest through the examples of Americans engaging in countless acts of courage, grit, and selflessness. Their actions gave us hope and helped to sustain us in the days of healing that followed. We were moved by the heroism of the passengers and crew aboard Flight 93, who sacrificed their lives to prevent further acts of terror. We were inspired by police and first responders as they rushed headlong into burning buildings to rescue the injured and trapped, as they courageously braved fire, smoke, and debris, descending deep piles of rubble, ash, and twisted iron to search for survivors. We were stirred to service by the deeds of those who labored in the ensuing days and months, often in dangerous conditions, to help our nation rebuild and recover. The noble sacrifices of these true patriots are forged in the great history of America. Today, we honor the memories of the souls we lost on September 11th, 2001, and pay tribute to all of the patriots who have sacrificed their lives in defense of freedom. We pray for the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen currently serving our nation in harm's way. We thank the dedicated men and women who keep our homeland safe and secure. We applaud the unsung patriots in city halls, community centers, and places of worship across our country whose simple acts of kindness define the greatness of America. By a joint resolution approved December 18th, 2001, Public Law 107-89, the Congress has designated September 11th of each year as Patriots' Day. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2018 as Patriots' Day. I call upon all departments, agencies, and instrumentalities of the United States to display the flag of the United States at half-staff on Patriot Day in honor of the individuals who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. I invite the governors of the United States and its territories and interested organizations and individuals to join in this observance. I call upon the people of the United States to participate in community service in honor of those our nation lost, to observe this day with appropriate ceremonies and activities, including remembrance services, and to observe a moment of silence beginning at 8:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time to honor the innocent victims who perished as a result of the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 10th day of September in the year of our Lord 2018, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 243rd. And it's hard to read that and not be emotional. And I just think it's a wonderful thing that our president has done this. I really do. I think it's just an awesome idea. So let's continue before I start to cry. I'm sorry. I told you I'm a sap. All right. Now we are on to September 11th. I believe. Let me just, yes, we are. Okay, so this is the first post from September 11th, and it's, there's a picture. We've seen these pictures before, but I'm going to go out to where I can make them bigger so that you can actually understand what this is showing. All right, let me make it bigger still. Okay, what it's showing here is that this is the, it shows 3 reporters, okay, as the, to say down here, legend, number, frequency of contacts. Okay, yeah, we have looked at this before, but it's always good to look at again. Here's 3 reporters, okay, and let's take this first reporter. Okay, he had 2 contacts with a senior special agent, 26 contacts with an FBI executive who also had contact with this reporter. He had 30 contacts with the special agent in charge, 6 with the assistant director, 18 with a senior special agent, and 6 with a senior special agent. Now, why would a reporter be that closely tied to the intel agencies? It's obviously a little bit disconcerting, if you ask me. And look at this reporter. This reporter is really prolific. I mean, look at all the contacts, 21, 13, 21, 11133. All these are different people. Special agent in charge, senior special agent, management and program analyst, FBI executive, deputy assistant director, staff operations specialist. And then you go over here to this guy's not as, but still has had a lot of contacts, special agent in charge, assistant director, section chief, writer, editor, senior special agent. So, the FBI is in constant contact with these reporters, giving them information, leaking. They're leaky people. All right, now let's go back and we'll look at the second picture. And this shows, again, different reporters, how many contacts they've had. This reporter, 1 with a section chief. This reporter, 21 with an assistant director and 23 with a special agent. This reporter, FBI headquarter phone number, unattributed, I don't know. Assistant legal attaché, section chief, supervisory special agent. So why are all these people contacting reporters? and it shows both ways. Like some shows one way, like the reporter is contacting them, and some shows both ways, like this. Supervisory special agents, the contact goes both ways. The supervisory inspector, the contact goes both ways, 13 times. So, yeah. Not anything that we don't know. We've known this, but it is interesting to see it graphed out like that. And here's a link to tweet 1 by Mark Meadows that Q wanted us to look at. I'm liking this Mark Meadows more and more. Okay, update. Today we sent an updated letter to Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, including a newly discovered text, plus new resulting timeline. 4/12/17. Strzok texts Lisa Page 2 articles are coming out about her namesake, meaning Carter Page. 4/22/17. Strzok tells Page, article is out and well done, Page. And here, I don't know, we can't see it, but this is the letter that we looked at before that was to Rod Rosenstein asking about that. Yeah. And I clipped the second one, and it says, so the new timeline, 4:10, and we just basically read that. Two articles are coming out about her namesake, Carter Page. Strzok text Page, article is out, well done, Page. So this is what Q wanted us to take a look at. And then the next post is an article by Breitbart, and it let's take a look at it. Come on. Boy, I don't know if this is gonna... There we go. I'll probably go out here and it'll be opening like 10,000 times. Okay, well maybe not 10,000, but... All right. Pope Francis compares Vatican whistleblower to Satan. Okay. Satan, the great accuser, has been unleashed against the bishops of the church, Pope Francis said Tuesday in a thinly veiled reference to the former Vatican nuncio to the United States. The former nuncio, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not familiar with that word. The former nuncio, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, recently accused a number of prelates of dereliction of duty in dealing with clerical sex abuse, and claimed that the Pope had rehabilitated serial abuser Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, elevating him to a position of influence despite knowledge of his misdeeds. In an 11-page testimony published on August 25th, Vigano alleged that he had personally informed Pope Francis in 2013 of the serial homosexual abuse perpetrated by Cardinal McCarrick, along with sanctions imposed on his ministry by Pope Benedict the 16th. And yet the Pope lifted those sanctions and involved McCarrick in the naming of future bishops. The great accuser, as he himself tells God in the first chapter of the book of Job, roams around the earth looking for someone to accuse, Francis said in his morning homily at Mass in the chapel of the Santa Marta residence in the Vatican. Okay, well, obviously the Pope doesn't know the Word of God. And, I have studied the Word of God decades and really studied it. And let me tell you, yes, it does call Satan the great accuser, but he goes around and he accuses, for example, he accused Job. He said, of course Job loves you. Of course Job is your servant because you've given him everything. But if you withdraw your favor from him, he'll curse you to your face. And he was accusing Job of, but that's the thing. The great accuser accuses without merit. This is not without merit. These cardinals and bishops and whatever are guilty. So, it's encouraging people to keep your mouth shut if you're a victim of abuse. And it's damaging. You know what? Honestly, if that had happened to me in a church setting, I would feel spiritually raped. And then if I had, someone in authority in the church say, well, Satan is the accuser of the brethren. And you're being punished for telling the truth? What? This is so evil. It's so evil. And the thing is, it damages people spiritually, sometimes forever. They can't ever have, they end up leaving their relationship with the Lord or whatever because of things that have happened of this nature. And it's tragic. Anyway, the great accuser, as he himself tells God in the first chapter of the book of Job, roams around the earth looking for someone to accuse, Francis said in his morning homily at Mass in the chapel of Santa Marta residence in the Vatican. In these times, it seems that the great accuser has been unleashed and has it in for the bishops, the Pope said. Well, actually, he is doing the work of Satan, because isn't he accusing? He's accusing the accuser. He's accusing this woman that has come forward, or whoever it was that came forward about this abuse, of being Satan. My gosh. It is true, we are all sinners, we bishops, he said, but the great accuser seeks to unveil sins so that they may be seen, to scandalize the people. Okay. Go back to the Dark Ages. This is unbelievable. It is so incredibly evil. Despite the Pope's frequent calls for transparency and accountability for those responsible for committing or covering up sex abuse, he seems to suggest Tuesday that the former nuncio had behaved like Satan by making public the errors of his brother bishops. Oh, well, he doesn't care about the people that these bishops, sexually abuse, though, does he? He's not concerned about that. No, but he calls the person that brought it to light Satan. Okay. When asked about these allegations shortly after their publication, Pope Francis dodged questions from reporters, telling them to read the accusations and make their own assessments of their credibility. Well, what's his job? On the papal plane returning from Ireland in late August, a journalist asked the Pope if it were true that the papal nuncio had explicitly informed him in 2013 of sexual abuse perpetrated by Cardinal McCarrick and subsequent sanctions imposed on him by Pope Benedict XVI. Pope Francis acknowledged having read the statement, but refused to confirm or deny the allegations. I won't say a word about this, he said. Oh, of course not, because he's probably guilty as sin himself. Since then, a number of bishops have criticized the Pope's no-comment media strategy, insisting all allegations are very serious and that Francis has the duty to clarify the facts to provide the accountability for which he himself has called. Certain news reports from early in the Francis pontificate would seem to lend credence to charges that the Pope gave McCarrick a new lease on life shortly after his election. Well, they just sweep it under the rug. They cover it up because it's so pervasive in the church. In a 2014 article, and in fact, do you know that the Bible says that if you forbid to marry, if you forbid, people in the ministry to marry or whatever, that it's the doctrine of demons. And you know why? Because of this. It's not normal for a person, unless they have a special dispensation from God, it's not easy to be single and have no, unless you're asexual, it's not easy for single people. So anyway, all right, that's enough of that. I think we've beat that to death, and it's making me mad. It's making me really mad. I have a special place in my heart for victims of what I call spiritual rape, and that's exactly what that is. It's not even, doesn't even have to be a sexual thing. It has to do with people in leadership raping the flock, and that's what they do for money, for whatever. All right. Now I'm going to go up to the next one, and it's this. It's somebody has done a nice job on this poster. It looks like a movie poster, and I'm going to go out to a bigger picture of it here so we can see it a little bit better. And it's not a whole lot bigger, but it's big enough for me to see. I know that you guys will not be able to read this, but it says, "What I saw is absolutely shocking, Mark Meadows. It is so alarming. The American people have to see this, Jim Jordan. There has been a real attempt to undermine the president, and it comes from the scariest of places. Matt Gaetz. The sickening reality has set in. I no longer hold out hope that there is an innocent explanation for the information the public has seen. Steve King. As soon as you read the memo, you think, is this happening in America, or is this the KGB? Scott Perry." So very, very well done meme there. Very well done to whoever did that. Kudos. And let's go up. Now, this is interesting. The next one says, "Panic in D.C. Rod Rosenstein requested meeting with POTUS. Declined. Q." So Rod Rosenstein requested a meeting with the president, and the president declined. That's interesting. And the next one says, "Panic in D.C. King and Spalding hired last week to represent Sally Yates. Q." Now, King and Spalding, I just put this here to give you a little bit of grounding here. King and Spalding is a lawyer, obviously a lawyer's LLP. They are lawyers, and they are in D.C., Pennsylvania, 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue, and they're closed right now, in case you're wondering, in case you're really badly needing a lawyer. And I did put a little blurb in here about Sally Yates. Following the inauguration of Donald Trump and the departure of Attorney General Loretta Lynch on January 20th, 2017, Yates served as acting Attorney General for 10 days. She was dismissed for insubordination by President Trump on January 30th after she instructed the Justice Department not to make legal arguments defending Executive Order 13769, which temporarily banned the admission of refugees and barred travel from certain Muslim-majority countries. Rather than defend it, Yates stated the order was neither defensible in court nor consistent with the Constitution. Large portions of the order were subsequently blocked by federal courts, which ruled that those sections violated the Fifth Amendment. The revised Executive Order 13780 was also blocked by the courts. The third version, Presidential Proclamation 9645, was upheld by the Supreme Court of the United States on June 26, 2018 in the case Trump versus Hawaii. Alrighty, give you just a little bit of background there. And the next one, panic in D.C. Comey in communication with McCabe. Testimony story. Q. So Comey, former director of the FBI, is talking to Andrew McCabe, former deputy director of the FBI, and they're conversing to get their story straight before they have to testify. Interesting. Like, do these people not realize that they're under surveillance? I guess not. And here's the next one. Panic in D.C. James Baker testifying against Comey. Now, he asked these as questions, and I've said this over and over again, but they're not. They're statements. He's making statements, but he's forming them as questions so he can claim that he didn't, we didn't write out, tell them. We just asked him a question. So James Baker served as White House Chief of Staff and United States Secretary of the Treasury under President Ronald Reagan, and as a U.S. Secretary of State and White House Chief of Staff under President George H.W. Bush. He is testifying against former FBI Director Comey. Well, that should be interesting testimony. That should be interesting indeed. And here is the next post. Panic in D.C. Lisa Page testifying against Peter Strzok. Q. Well. I guess the affair is over. Maybe Peter's gone back to his wife, or, well, maybe Lisa's just trying to save her own bacon. Not sure. And here's the next one. Panic in D.C. Bruce Orr, in effort to save Nellie Orr, testifying against Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey. Now, Lynch served as the 83rd Attorney General of the United States from 2015 to 2017, and Sally Yates is the one that took her position, just for a little bit of grounding there. And so isn't that interesting? But he is testifying against Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey in an effort to probably have them go easy on his wife, which actually is quite commendable. I mean, at least he's not just out for himself. At least he's thinking about his wife and trying to make it a little bit easier for her. We'll see what happens. Now, here's the next one. Panic in D.C. Steele requested non-extradition to the U.S. However, UK to U.S. extradition treaty 2003. Q. So yes, the UK and the U.S. have an extradition treaty, and that was signed in 2003. Steele has requested of his government that he not be extradited to the United States, and I am sure that he's probably gone through a few packages of Depends, because I would be very concerned if I were him as well. Now, here is what is involved in extradition. Extradition from the UK to the US. The process begins when a US prosecutor obtains an arrest warrant with the approval of the domestic courts. In England and Wales, the Crown Prosecution Service acts on behalf of the US in taking the case through the courts. Once the police have arrested the subject, the courts must decide whether or not the U.S. has met the tests required for an extradition to take place. This is a fairly technical hearing in which the lawfulness of the request is examined. The U.S. does not need to provide all the evidence in a case as if the allegations were being tested in full trial by British judges. What this comes down to is proving to the courts that there is reasonable suspicion. Essentially, the hurdle police need to jump to justify an arrest, but obviously short of what is necessary to get a conviction. So, that is what is involved in getting him over here, and I would think that that would be fairly easy to justify if the courts there cooperate, because we know that they don't have clean hands either in all this. So, now, here is the next post. Rats running. Timing is everything. Enjoy the show. Q. So the rats are running, as rats do. Generally, if you turn the lights on in a place that has rats, they're going to run. They prefer the dark. Not that I've ever had rats, and not that I would ever want rats, but I'm just saying. Okay. Now, here is the next one, and it says, another wave of attacks coming. Nothing to see here. Q. Now, let's go out and take a look at this, even though I'm not going to be able to fully look at it because it's the New York Times. And they want me to pay. A trail of breadcrumbs leading conspiracy theorists into the wilderness. And I've apparently reached my limit of 3 articles, so I can't go further. I may actually cave and do the New York Times and the Washington Post, because there seems to be a lot of reference to these. But I can't read this, but I think we probably all know exactly what it has to say. So, but it's interesting the way they've worded it, a trail of breadcrumbs leading conspiracy theorists into the wilderness. So, I would argue that it is rather leading us out of the wilderness, but I guess only time will tell. Now let's go back to Q, and we're going to go up to this picture that Q posted, and I know it's small. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you. Be bigger, she said, and it was. And it looks like some sort of a school or institutional type setting, like a school or, school. I can't imagine any other type of setting that it would be. And they're all in yellow t-shirts, and they've made a Q plus. And Q has made reference to this and said, together we win, Q. So I thought this was a very cute picture, and I thought it was kind of neat that they did that. Not sure what school it is, or if it's a school, or what it is, but it's cool anyway. And here is the next one, and it is making reference to, hang on here. Oh, yes. Here we go. Here's the next tweet, or the next tweet. Here's the next post, and it is just a tweet. Q is just referring to a tweet, and he's referring to this tweet by somebody called Stardust _1416. She said, it's hammer time. And then underneath, she has Q's post. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Q. It's hammer time. Now, that is it for September 11th, and we are completely up to date with the posts. So, and it is now actually September 12th. It's funny how that happens. So that's it for this evening. I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you want to be subscribed. Make sure you're still subscribed, because they do drop my subscribers. It's very strange. People tell me that a lot, that they were once subscribed and they didn't, unsubscribe, but suddenly they're not subscribed. And that has happened to me with some of my channels as well that I like to listen to. So there you go. Now, I hope you have a good evening. I hope you have a great day. I hope September 12th is a wonderful day for you all, and that you stay well and you stay safe. Talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.